Hey, boys and girls. Welcome to the show. I missed you guys. How are you guys doing? Everybody doing okay, I hope? Can you hear me all right? I'm going to be looking at the sound levels here in a second because I don't know. Give me a sec. I just want to check something out. Hey, can you guys hear me? Because I don't know if you can. Give me a thumbs up, guys, if you can hear me okay. Playing around with settings here again. More settings, and every time I play with more settings, it gets more complicated. So let me give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Actually, can you hear the guitar too? I don't know if you can hear with the effects. Tell me if you hear the guitar with the effects or just a dry signal. I'm just wondering if everything's good. And if it is, we can start the show. Let's see who's here today. I think we have a relatively, I'm not going to say a full house because I think I forgot to send out the invitation reminder yesterday. So I sent it out early this morning. Actually, I think I have a bit of reverb on my voice here. Is that right? All right. Hey, do you hear me in stereo today or still mono? I know last time it was people were complaining because it wasn't in stereo. I was trying to fix that, so let me know if you can hear me okay. All right, guys, welcome to the show. So last week I was on hiatus. I wasn't here, so I wasn't able to do the show. I missed you guys. I hope you guys had a good extra week without me and stayed out of trouble. And if you didn't, I want to hear all about it. I think you guys probably have a lot going on considering, summer's around. Well, it's here. Actually, it's not summer yet, right? We're not at summer yet. It's getting there. And since summer's here, everybody's got stuff lined up, I'm sure. So some of you might be missing a couple of shows, maybe. I don't know. But I'm happy you guys are here today because we have a lot to talk about. I was waiting for you guys before the show started, and I noticed that a couple of people had some questions even before things got started, which I love to see because then we can jump right in. And I think somebody said, I think it was Vox who said that he's got a few stories from Long and McQuaid. So I want to hear all about it, Vox. Jump right in. Let me know. What went down on at Long and McQuaid? Jack says he likes my new haircut. Thanks, Jack. It was long overdue, man. I needed it. It'll grow back. Don't worry. It's funny. Every time I cut my hair, I see more gray now. So that's not good. So let me say good morning to everybody that's here today because I always feel like I like to know who's in the house and make sure everybody's okay and doing well. So Rico's here, Marcel's here, John, Shane. Shane says he's got new gear. The Boss RC3 loop station. Very nice, Shane. Hey, that's going to be a lot of fun to play with, man. Loopers are fantastic. If you're, jamming or just want to get creative with it, it's a lot of fun. Also very good for practicing. So congratulations on that, man. I'm happy to see that new gear is still coming in. And Shane also says, anyone watch the new Fender YouTube series Plugged In? Not yet. I heard about it, but I didn't have any time to check it out. So they're jumping on the bandwagon too, it seems. Very cool. I'm gonna check it out maybe later tonight. What's your take on it, Shane? Thumbs up, thumbs down, meh. Always interesting to get feedback from you guys. Time Surfing Alien, hey man. What's going on? Nella, nice to see you. Welcome. Slowly people are still trickling in. That's great. Great to see you guys all remembered to tune in today. This morning. So where was I? I said good morning to Shane. Peg City is here. Hey, good morning, Peg City. Shane says, did you get to keep that Pearson? Well, it's here, man. There's the Pearson. I don't know if you guys saw the video. This is probably the most unique guitar that I ever owned. It seems like it's from the future. I put the link to the video in the chat so you guys can check it out. I posted the video review on this guitar this morning. And I mean, full disclosure, I didn't expect to like this guitar. I mean, it's cool to look at, but the question is it interesting to play? Is it fun to play? And I went through it with a fine-tooth comb in that video review. So I think you guys probably will have all the information you need on this guitar. It's not for everyone, but it's definitely crazy unique. I mean, I just turned one of the knobs so on the tuner, so that's probably going to be out of tune now, but I'm going to tune it up for you guys. It's like, it reminds me of Terminator. Something out of Terminator or Mad Max, or something that you'd see probably in a ZZ Top video, something like that. But it's definitely unique. So not for everyone, I get it. Not everybody's into headless guitars, and especially when you throw headless guitars that are made out of aluminum and all that crazy stuff. But it's a very cool guitar and fun guitar to play. So you can check it out. Yeah, I was thinking about that, David. Maybe mounting a flamethrower on it. You know what? It's a good conversation piece for anybody that starts one of the tone wood debates. You know, can you hear the wood in your guitar? You know, does wood make a difference? It's a good option, an opportunity to bring this out and say, now what do you think? Anyway, check out the video if you get a chance. It's a lot of fun. The neck isn't that thick, Shane. I know it looks like it. It's actually very comfortable. It's roasted maple, man. Beautiful roasted maple neck. And it's, I'm going to say it's a medium C. I like it. It feels very nice in the hands. Stainless steel frets too. I forgot to mention that in the video. Sometimes there's so much to talk about, I forget. But stainless steel frets on this baby with the rounded, the round over frets like you see on some of the E-Art guitars. And it does have the little switches here, so you can actually tap both pickups. So you can go single coil or full humbucker on that, which is pretty cool. Time Surfing Alien wants to know who makes it. I put the link to the video review I did on this guitar in the chat for you guys. It's a company called Pearson Guitars, and they've been around for a while, I think. This is called the Hyper B. If you're interested in the model, they're actually made in Australia. And they retail, I think they're all the same price. They're $6.99. They were actually more expensive than that the last time I checked them out. They were hovering about $800. Now it looks like they're $6.99 across the board on their website. I could put the website. Well, I'll put the website at the end, or actually you can just go to the video. It's all there. And you can check out all the information on the guitar. It's pretty cool. You know, Nella, at the beginning, that's what I thought too. I'm like, how could the guitar be comfortable, right? Because it's, you know, all kinds of metal. But the way they have it designed, it feels like a regular guitar, because the parts that touch your body are in the same place as a regular guitar is. The thickness at the bottom here is pretty much the same as a regular guitar as well. So it doesn't feel much different, and it's balanced quite well. So it's just one of those things that it's a conversation starter for sure. Yeah, it can hang. You noticed that, Nella, in the video. Yeah, I mentioned that too. I thought that was a nice touch, that the guitar actually can hang on a stand. They considered that, and they made it wide enough here so if you're hanging it on a stand, it works still, you know? So little things like that make it cool. Davis, I actually did play some metal on it, if you can consider it metal, in the video review. So you can check it out. Anyways, I'm still having fun playing it, and figured I'd show it to you guys because it's new guitar day. So let me continue saying hi to everybody here. Jack is here. He says that he likes my haircut, as I mentioned in the beginning of the show. Thank you, Jack. I'm already messing it up. Ken is here as well. I'm still curious about Vox's story that he wants to share with us with Long and McQuaid. So let us know what's going on with that. And let's see, Music and Gear, Gene, Paul. Paul had a new pedal suggestion for us this morning. Mosky Overdrive, $15 USD with free shipping. What's it called, Paul? Mosky what? Is there a name to it, or is it just Mosky? There's so many things coming out, it's hard to keep track. Profile Production says, what do you think about the blue chip picks and the Klon? So first of all, the blue chip picks, I haven't tried those yet. I don't know if they're, I mean, they claim that they last longer. For me, that's not really a problem because I lose them before they actually deteriorate on me. And plus, I got picks all over the place. My kids claim that I shed picks because everywhere I go in the house, there's picks. You know, from the dryer to, I pull out my phone from my pocket and it snags a few picks and they fall out. There's always picks all over the place. So I'm constantly picking them up, trying to find them. So this is why I don't necessarily spend too much money on picks, because those super expensive ones like the V picks, and there's a few other brands out there. I mean, I lose them before I actually get a chance to wear them down. And it's a shame when you're losing a $10 pick. Or more. So I try and I go cheap sometimes. I like to have a nice selection, but I probably will try them eventually. The chip picks. Has anyone here tried them? Out of curiosity here. So guys, we're show 256 today. So the show is going strong. I don't know if you saw the announcement at the beginning of the video, but today's video is sponsored by Overloud, THU, and I'm happy about that partnership because I think they really do make some really great software. And if you guys haven't tried it yet and you want to be able to play some really cool simulations on your computer, check them out. Really sweet packages that they have there now, that they've released a few other packages that I want to install myself and try out. There's a Jimmy Page one that I'm dying to try. And I'm gonna see if I can actually get a guest appearance from one of the founders from the company at Overloud. There's a gentleman called Thomas Serafini, who's in Italy. He's an Italian dude, really sweet guy. I got a chance to speak to him earlier last week, and really knows his stuff, man. And maybe if I can have him on the show, we can go through the software together and see all the great stuff that it can do. It would be really nice. We'll see what we can do. We will also try and get a giveaway happening with the people from THU. You can download a free demo if you're interested in trying that out. But if you're interested, there'll probably be a giveaway. We'll probably give away a code or two to the software. So if you guys are interested in winning that, you'll have an opportunity to win some really, really cool software and play around with that. All right, so stay tuned for that. Let's see here. And please, as usual, I would appreciate some thumbs up on the channel. It always helps. Now I'm just going back. Profile says that those blue chip picks are $40. How many do you get in a package? I didn't really catch how many there are in there. Picks are getting expensive too, man. Everything's getting expensive. Nella says he found 7 picks inside an amp once. They kept slipping from the top-mounted faceplate into the amp. I find them under my car seat all the time. They just slip out when I'm grabbing my keys out of my pocket or the phone out of my pocket and stuff. And every time I clean the car and vacuum down there, I'm pleasantly surprised with at least a handful of picks. It's like Christmas, you know? It's always fun. Rico says you only get one pick for 40 bucks. I'm out. Forget that. John says Italian with a name like Overloud. I thought they'd be Irish. Yeah, it's true. So Paul says that pedal of the week is called the Musky Thug. High gain overdrive. Intro day $15 USD with free shipping. Sold out. But so now 35 bucks. So it was 15 intro price. Now it's 35. Okay. Things go fast, man. So somebody else here was asking about the Klon. I guess we're going to have to talk about it because it's all over. I made a video about that too, if you guys are interested in watching, regarding my feeling on the whole Behringer and Finnegan lawsuit that's happening now. The founder of the Klon. If you guys haven't been online this week, I'm sure you've heard of it. Everybody's talking about it. So what's happening is that Behringer is being sued by the founder of the Klon, the guy who made the inventor of the Klon. And actually, it's Behringer and their parent company. By the way, Behringer is worth like, I think, over $2 billion. They're not a small operation. So I don't know if, Finnegan has deep pockets. But when you're going to be going against a big company like Behringer that does have deep pockets, lawsuits could drag on for a long, long time and become very expensive. So I don't know how it's going to turn out, but basically, I think the gist of it is that they're suing because they think that it's a little too close to home. Now, I don't know why it took them so long to sue somebody, but I don't really agree with the lawsuit. And I'll tell you why, because honestly, I mean, look at the Behringer thing. It's this big, it's tiny, it doesn't look like the real thing at all. You can tell it's not the real thing, especially at that price point. You know, you're buying something for like $100 or less, definitely not a real Klon. But I've seen so many other ones that are being made that are closer to the real thing. I have one over here that I showed in the video, made by Seriatone. To me, that one is way closer looking to the real thing than the Behringer one. So I don't know. I mean, if anything, I think all of this hype, what it's doing is just bringing more attention to the Behringer version. I don't think that people will get them mixed up. I think somebody who's looking for a Klon knows what they're looking for and knows exactly what they're going to get. So it's kind of dumb, but at the same time, it's shining a very bright spotlight on Behringer. And I think a lot of people are actually snagging up those Klons now because they probably figure, they might take them off the market because of the lawsuit. Maybe I won't be able to get them anymore. I might as well snag them up. I see them sold out everywhere. So it's the reverse effect. If you don't want them to sell the stuff and you're bringing attention to it, it's just going to make it worse, right? So I don't know what your feeling is on that, but I don't think they're going to pull them off the market. I think they're going to continue selling them. David predicts a quick settlement, maybe a cash deal, something like that. I don't know. I mean, they both have stuff to gain from it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime, yeah, it's definitely shining a light on the Behringer stuff. I haven't picked up the Klon. I thought I was going to maybe buy the Behringer clone, but I figured I got a few already. I got 3 or 4 or more already. I don't need another one, so I'm probably not going to buy that one. However, I'm still on the fence about the fuzz bender. Actually, I was about to pull the trigger on one yesterday, and then went back wanting to pull the trigger on it, and it was sold out again. So they're selling, man. They're selling like hotcakes. I don't know if any of you have any of them. If any of you have bought any of those, but if you have, let me know what you feel about them. At first, I was on the fence. I wasn't crazy about what I was hearing online with the fuzzbender, but lately I've seen a few more videos, and they're actually better recorded, and they do sound good, and they do sound tempting. So I figured I might eventually get one. They're always on back order. MFN, they're always on back order. Sweetwater has them on back order. I think Long and McQuaid has them on back order. You have to actually place an order. You'll get them eventually. Yeah, I think it's more along those lines, Null. I think you're exactly right. I think Finnegan is kind of waiting for somebody to pay him so he can keep quiet about it. And that's probably what it boils down to. MFN says, I'll stick with my Wampler. Wampler's perfectly fine. I got one of them too, and works beautifully. It's funny because when they did a shootout of the Klons, I think Andertons did it at one point. They had a whole bunch from the real thing to like very budget versions, and it's surprising how many actually sound like pretty much identical. So, you know, it's just a question of buying one because you want to say you have one, but I think you can get the sound from way more inexpensive gear. Vox says, I have the fuzzbender, sounds great with single coils, and humbucker depends which switch setting is on. What I noticed about it, Vox, is that you have to play around with the settings quite a bit depending on the guitar amp volume and all that kind of stuff. But you can get some interesting sounds out of it. That's what I like about it. It's not like just one sound and that's the end of it, you know? All right, so did I miss your answer regarding the Long McQuaid story? Did you already answer that? I'm curious. I want to hear your story, man. I'm scrolling back in case I missed it. And Vox says the sound hole is a place for picks. It's exactly right, man. That's where you're going to find them for sure. So let me hear your story, man. I'm all ears. You got me curious now. Um, Vinny says at the end of the day, if they need to change the housing, so much attention's been drawn to the pedal that it's still a win. Exactly, man. If it just boils down to the fact that there's Behringer's not written in the front, because that was one of the things that he was claiming. He's like they could mistake it for the real thing, which they won't, because the name Behringer's not on it. So they're just gonna put the name on it. End the story. You know what I mean? That's basically it. Hey Presley, what's up, dude? And John says I can use the Klon side of the NuX Queen of Tone if I need one. You're right. I have one too. I have one of those too. I even forgot about that. So at this stage, I probably have, I don't know, 5 or 6 at least pedals that claim to have that Klon thing going. I also have what is it? It's one of the Joyos as well. Yeah. So I have the Wampler Deluxe. I have the actual Seriatone clone of the Klon. I have the Ghost Drive, which is the one that I built from Stumac. I have another one. I forget who makes that one. I have another one also that is basically a clone of that. As you mentioned, the Queen of Tone as well, and the one from Joyo. So I'm all cloned out at this stage. Rico wants to know if I watched the Andertons Paul Gilbert interview. Yeah, Paul's a funny guy. I like watching him though. He's all over the place. but he knows his stuff. He's been playing for so long. It's funny because he's starting to look like Gary Oldman. Don't you find? Especially with the glasses that he wears nowadays, the thick glasses, the thick rimmed glasses. Doesn't he look like Gary Oldman? Or is it just me? But he seems like a cool dude. So searching for tone says I have the Warm Audio Centavo. It's a much bigger footprint, but I guess because they didn't say Centaur on it and the horsey looks different, they didn't sue them. I don't know. I don't know if that's the reason, or if they figured it wouldn't be worthwhile going after a smaller company, maybe Behringer, because they're a billion-dollar company or a multi-billion-dollar company, that it would be an easier payday, probably. Nella, you got one of those Ghost Drive kits too? It's actually a very cool kit. I built it in a day. Pretty straightforward. I had a lot of fun building it. And it sounds very good. I really do like it. One of my favorite ones that I have, actually. So yeah, you should definitely build it, man. Get it done. Get her done. Okay, so Vox, did you answer the question, Vox? Are you keeping me in suspense here? What's going on? What happened at Long and McQuaid, man? I think he wants to drive up some interest, some excitement, some curiosity even. So, is this the story? I was looking for some Grovers for my Telecaster, but they were $189. So I bought new parts for my old tuners instead, white spacers, and got to talk with mom's guitar teacher's son. Is that the story? Or is that part of the story? I'm scrolling backwards, so sorry if this is out of whack in terms of timeline here. Says I was trying out a Gibson SG200. It played great and sounded good. Only thing stopped me from getting it was the $6,799 price. And it was on sale. If it was $6,700 flat, you probably would have gotten it, right? Hey, come on, it's only like half the price of a car. Dude, I mean, yeah, try and explain that one to the wife, right? I understand what you're saying, man. I hate when I go into... the last time I went into Long and McQuaid, I came back with my Charvel. And don't mind the chicken legs, guys. I'm in my shorts today because it's so hot and I need to tan them. I'm going to be going outside later on and getting some tan while I do some yard work. But yeah, I went into Long and McQuaid just to pop in and see what was new. Came out of there with a guitar. Nice, the red Charvel that I showed you guys not long ago. That was a spontaneous buy. So sometimes you pop in for picks and you walk out with a guitar. So wife was standing right there. What you need to do, Vox, this is the strategy you gotta... If you want to be able to come home with a guitar, this is what you do. If the wife's with you, on the way, while you're driving there, start an argument. Piss her off as much as you can on the way there. So she's already pissed off, right? And then when you go into the store, you buy the guitar, you're going to be driving home. She'll still be pissed off, but at least you have a guitar, right? So it's a win-win. Shane says, have you lost a little weight recently? If I did, I found it, Shane, because I actually was thinner earlier in the year, and I'm slowly putting it back again. So I'm trying to stay at my goal weight, but I'm probably off by about 15 pounds. I'm about 15 pounds heavier than my goal weight, so... I don't think I'm losing weight, Shane. At least not consistently. Yeah, Vox, that's what I was talking about earlier in the show. I don't know if you saw the guitar I was playing it a little bit. Is it still in tune? Let me see here. Oh! Yeah, that's the one I knocked out of tune. Sorry, guys. Let me just tune that up. Tune that one up. It's the... Is it the G? Yeah. I think so. That's the thing about these, when the tuners are at the back like this. Where am I? I'm just trying to get this thing tuned a little bit, and I'll give you a little taste. Yeah. What's happening with my tuner? Tune by ear. Is my tuner jammed? Oh, there we go. Sometimes the technology with the tuners is not the greatest, and actually I picked up a little something I wanted to show you guys when we're talking about tuners. I'll show you that in a minute. So let me just tune up a little bit. So what I did was I picked up a strobe tuner recently. How good is my ear? I don't know. Anyways, it is what it is. It's one of those things where it makes me want to play ZZ Top because, you know, they always have those freaky guitars. Still out of tune. So anyway, just a little, wanted to wake you guys up just in case you're still sleepy this morning. All right, John says, my friend always used to say, if you get your wife upset, she will yell at you, but if you get her really upset, she'll stop talking to you. So isn't it worth putting in the extra effort? Probably. Rich says the camera adds 15 pounds. Does it? I guess I'm going to have to get one of those thin filters. Music and Gear says, funny thing is, my wife is on the gas thing now. Boy, oh boy. What can I say after I have done the same thing? LOL. What do you mean the gas thing? You're talking about she's on your back about buying too many guitars? Is that it? Well, you know what, man? At the end of the day, there's a lot of tips that I can share because I've been around the block. It's not my first rodeo with all these guitars and stuff like that. So I got a few tips I can share with you guys. Marcel wants to know if I'm going in through THU today. Not yet, Marcel. I didn't set it up yet. The funny thing is, I mean, with THU, because it's a software-based thing, it's great when you're playing through your computer system. But if you're trying to stream the what you're hearing while you're playing, it's a challenge because it doesn't work that well with streaming software. So I would have to get another software to be able to then route the stuff from THU to what I'm using here. There's a software called Loopback to be able to do that. The only problem with the Loopback software is there's a little bit of a delay. There's a little bit of a lag because it basically routes things in a different way through the computer, through software. So that it does introduce some latency, and I'm not crazy about that. So I'm trying to see if there's another way I can do it. But if I can set it up properly so you guys can hear everything nice and clear, I definitely will start using that during the shows and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun, man. If you haven't already played with it, check it out. So Music and Gear says, a 2099 Jackson she wants to buy. Just did the review on it. It's here only for the review. So your wife is into guitars too, music and gear. Well, that's cool. That's cool. What's wrong with that? I don't think that's a problem. All right, so let's get to some topics of the day, shall we? I've been already going off tangents here, and we have stuff to talk about. So there's a poll question today. I know you guys missed the poll question last time. There wasn't one, so I added one in. If you guys have an opportunity, check it out before we get there. We usually will answer the poll question towards the end of the show. Paul says that he heard in the first week that Bill Finnegan was on the Behringer pedal, he may be in on a whole scheme with them where both sides get rich with endless new Klon talks. Klons were getting passe. I've heard that rumor. I don't know if it's true. I mean, maybe it is. I mean, if he's going to get a kickback from the Behringer sales, like maybe it was meant to be from the get-go. This is a conspiracy theory, guys, now, so don't take it literally, take it with a grain of salt, but I get what people are saying. You know, basically the conspiracy theory is maybe they got together before they actually launched the Klon, and maybe Finnegan gave them the okay that they can do it, but he would want to get a kickback from the sales. And that way they can start a hoopla with, you know, the whole story of him suing them, you know, free marketing basically, and get more sales out of it. I mean, would make for a really good idea, you know. It's dishonest, but it probably would generate some additional sales for sure. Win-win, you know. Why doesn't he go ahead and reissue the Klon? Because then it would devalue the ones that are out there, you know. And people argue, well, he doesn't make money from that. I don't know if he doesn't make money from that. He still puts out some Klons on eBay, which he designates as a reissue with, there's actually an R in the serial number, which, you know, he's making money from that. If you know, think of it this way, man, you put together one pedal. Like I put together the Ghost Drive pedal in like maybe, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours, something like that. It's not even my pedal. You know, I'm building them from a kit, and I'm not that good at building kits or soldering or, you know, working with electronics. So this guy builds his own. He knows how to build them inside out. He's been building them for years. How long do you think it takes him to make one of those? So if you can make a pedal like that, right, put it on eBay and sell it for $5,000, $6,000, that's a pretty, you know, if you break it down by the hour, you know, even if he takes his time and it takes him 3 hours to put one together, that's pretty good. That's like $2,000 an hour. Think about it. You know, there's probably like $10 worth of parts in there. So I don't know, man. I don't necessarily feel bad for anyone in this story. So Nylon Burning says, bought a Korean Richmond Strat copy. Man, it sounds like a split on your spit on your I can't speak. Spit on your grave. Angry, molten, lava monster. So happy. So if this is a lava monster, does it have like super heavy pickups on it? High output? Something like that? Music and Gear says, if you clone a clone of a product, can the first builder say you're copying them? Probably. You know, I'm not a lawyer. There's so many like ins and outs about the law and what you can do and what you can't do. I don't even want to pretend to go there. I did see that, Gene. The Man versus Machine, Plek versus Luthier. Yeah, I saw that one. That was cool. I like that. I like the Man versus Machine idea. You know what? I think if you're skilled and you know what you're doing, you can come you can make a really nice job in terms of leveling the frets. You could go with the machine as well, but I can't afford $100,000 plug machine, so I got to learn how to do it myself. Nella wants to know best passive humbucking pickups for high gain. Good question. I don't know if any of you are using passive pickups. I mean, I'm not a big fan of active pickups. I've said it before on the channel. I just don't find it has the same bite, the same attack. At least the ones I've tried, like maybe there's some other ones that have come out now that are better, but I usually will stick with passive. Plus, you don't have to mess around with, batteries and stuff and extra compartments and all that kind of stuff. So for high gain, I don't play high gain. So I'm not your best resource for that. The super distortions are the ones that, I would probably use. But there's probably better ones out there right now. If any of you out there are playing, heavier music and you do play high gain stuff most of the time, maybe you have a couple of suggestions. It all depends on what you're looking for in terms of flavor. Just scrolling down quickly here, just to see if I missed anybody's comments. If you guys are new and you haven't already commented on the channel, please know you have to subscribe to be able to comment. Otherwise, you won't be able to. Put a little question mark ahead of your question so that we'll be able to know that it's that your question is directed towards me. Otherwise, it's a question for everyone basically. All right, just scrolling. I'm gonna scroll back down. A lot of questions, man. I like the participation today. Fantastic. Yeah, the Greg Cox active pickups sound pretty good. They're expensive though. I like the Marzio Super Distortions probably a little bit better than the Tone Zones myself, Eddie. AB Normal says put a Saturday Night Special set in my Les Paul Mojo tone wiring harness. Love it. It's fun to upgrade your guitars. I'm going to be doing a lot of work on my guitars now. I got a few things lined up that I want to do. I've been kind of shunning the guitars, and some of them need a little bit of work. So I'm gonna probably be doing a few videos on some of those as well while I'm at it. Why not? Question from Music and Gear. Do you find you use your FX FM9 when you're just playing around at home or when you use an amp? Or do you use an amp? Most of the time, if I'm playing around at home, I'll probably go through the FM9. It's just more convenient. And it bothers less people. If you're playing loud, you can just put headphones on or play through your studio monitors or whatever if you want to get the stereo effects. Everything's already there, everything already plugged in. I have my sounds dialed up so I don't have to plug in the amp, pull out the pedal board, plug everything in, all the wires and all that kind of stuff. I'm getting lazy, guys. So I'll go through the easy route, which is the FM9 is definitely the easier route. Multi-effects, I have a few different multi-effects too that I like to play through. Not always that one. Yeah, he can definitely play. Greg Koch is my favorite guitarist, man. On YouTube, this guy should be way more popular than he is. I don't know why he isn't. His trio, he does live jam sessions. I think he calls it the Live from the Orange Room or something like that, with his son on drums, a bassist, and himself playing guitar and singing. and they blow my socks off every time. I don't know. I don't know why he's not more popular than he is. He should be like, he should be the hottest thing on YouTube. He can. I'm pretty confident when I say Greg could outplay most people on YouTube in one way or another. You know, there's a lot of excellent guitarists on YouTube, but Greg, man, he can play everything. He's like an encyclopedia. Marcel wants to know how much the Pearson is. It's $6.99 right now on their website. Jeff says you'll be needing metalworking tools as well as woodworking tools now. Yeah, to work on this guitar. Maybe some welding equipment, you know, something like that. It would be really, really cool, and I made this suggestion in the video, if they can, like the only part of this guitar that comes from a tree is the neck, which is cool, but I feel it's a little bit odd because everything else is like metal. So I made this suggestion, maybe they can come out with a carbon fiber neck or something for the guitar. You know, make it really, really cool. The other thing is, you know, aluminum can be anodized for different colors. So it would be really cool to be able to get these in different colors. Maybe he's already working on that. You know what I mean? But that should be pretty cool. Shipping, I don't know, Marcel, you would have to figure that out because it comes from Australia. So I don't know what the story is with the shipping from Australia in terms of duties and all that kind of stuff. AB says he's got a mobile welder. So if I need it, I can just come over and borrow that from you. Powered by plutonium-238. All it's missing is a flux capacitor and we're in business. I thought about that, Music and Gear. Yeah, the early 80s Kramer guitars had those aluminum necks on them with the horseshoe-shaped headstock. Yeah, I remember those. Yeah, Shane, I stand corrected. New Zealand, sorry. Not Australia. It's in the same vicinity, though. So while we're here, let's talk about a couple of interesting things that I saw. Well, first of all, I don't know if you guys, any YouTube fans still here in the house? I used to be a big YouTube fan back in the day in high school. I kind of nowadays I'm not a huge YouTube fan anymore. It's more nostalgia at this stage. You know, if they come to town, will I go see them? I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe, you know, but they were on Jimmy Kimmel not long ago, and they did a song live, and it was interesting to see that. They're coming out with a new album, obviously. But the interesting thing was that Bono was on Joe Rogan. I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan, and I listen to him all the time. And he was on there for a good 3 hours, talking about all kinds of stuff with Joe Rogan. I really enjoyed it, and he was really like down to earth. You know, I would have thought he would be a little bit more of a fathead because, you know, he is a superstar. But he seemed relatively normal for someone like that. So David's a YouTube fan. I said YouTube. A YouTube fan. What's your favorite album, David? I mean, if I go to, you know, I like the early stuff for sure. There's a couple of other ones that are a couple other songs within a couple of albums that have come out since then that I think are good too. But the earlier stuff, obviously, it was still my favorite. Vox is doing some stand up here. Bono walks into a bar with his drummer. What does the bartender say? Oh, not you two again. Tough crowd. U2 War is Shane's album. I like the Joshua Tree. I like that one. Actung Baby was good too. It's a couple of good ones. Yeah, they got a couple of good ones for sure. So, anyways, I enjoyed that a lot. Also, I noticed that they announced that David Gilmour is doing another tour, and he's calling it One Last Ride. It's his farewell tour, 2026. I guess he's going to retire. It's going to be sad to see him go. I haven't seen David Gilmour alone, so Under a Blood Red Sky says Shane. Joshua Tree says Alex. Yeah, for me it's the Joshua Tree. I remember going to watch U2 when the Joshua Tree came out, when they were doing the tour. I was still in high school when that one came out. Still remember like it was yesterday. Actung Baby, yeah, there's a lot of good ones on that one. For sure. Anyways, it was funny because I remember going to that concert. It was at the stadium here. Huge venue. Sound was terrible. Because I don't know if you guys know, but our stadium's round. Terrible for acoustics. So there was reverb all over the place. The sound was just bouncing all over the place. The opening act, if I remember correctly, was that Mexican band that plays La Bamba. I don't know why they selected them as the opening band, but that was the opening band. And fantastic show. I still remember Bono had the cowboy hat. He had broken his arm, so he was singing on stage with a cast. I remember that. He fell off the stage at some point, broke his arm. And the most, yeah, Los Lobos. That's it. Thank you, Nella. Couldn't remember the name there for a minute. Basically, they ended up closing the night with Sunday Bloody Sunday. And I still remember everybody was leaving, like the lights went on, they finished. That was their encore. And everybody was leaving the stadium still singing the chorus to the song, the words to the song. As they were going out of the stadium and as everybody was walking out in the street at night, you know, down the street from away from the stadium, people were still singing the song. So they definitely have an effect on a crowd. They know how to work a crowd. Bono knows how to work a crowd for sure. And that was, you know, very memorable. Not a lot of bands have that impact on people. So I don't know if you still like U2 now. I mean, I think it's like they're getting to the point where maybe they're rehashing it a little bit. But yeah, Eddie says Unforgettable Fire. Yeah, it's a nice one. For sure. David says, I remember when they staged the opera Aida at the Olympic Stadium, they had sound issues too. David, the Olympic Stadium should never be used for music. But they did. They used it for years and years. I think AC/DC played there when they came last time. Not last time, but one of the many years ago. They had a, I think it was what was the name of that concert tour? Was it the Who Made Who tour? I don't remember. But it was one of those early tours that they were playing at the Olympic Stadium, and it wasn't good. I mean, people that are fans are still going to go, but that's not the place you want to go for sound. Yeah, the Edge can get boring in a way after a while. It's pretty much always the same, right? Anyway, so that's, I was talking about David Gilmour. I don't know how we got back on the topic of U2, but David Gilmour seems to be hanging up the guitar. I think it's going to be his last one. So I don't know if anybody's disappointed. I mean, I like Pink Floyd, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if I'd go see David Gilmour alone. I probably would find it a little bit boring. But he's going to be okay. I don't think he's going to be, in trouble. I mean, Pink Floyd is still on the charts. You know that, right? This is like the Dark Side of the Moon album, after 50 years, is still on the billboards. Could you imagine that? It's been it was released in 1973, I think. Anyway, it's been on the billboards, the top 200, for 989 weeks. And recently, if I'm not mistaken, it even jumped up. It jumped up, I think previously it was around 42, position 42. Recently it jumped up to 24 again. I don't know why. And don't forget that the billboard sales that they're referring to count only for physical purchases. You know, they're not talking about like streaming or all that kind of stuff that you see today. So, you know, they're still making money from that album. So David's going to be fine. I'm not worried about him. Eddie says that he saw Extreme a couple of weeks ago. They were fantastic. Nuno was ripping out some Van Halen songs. Crazy good show. Yeah, Nuno's gotten a lot of fame recently, ever since he was on Rick Beato's show, and he's got like his 15 minutes of spotlight there for a while. Previously, he wasn't that upfront. Nylon Burning says Floyd is eternal universal. It's part of us. Might run into Gilmore busking in front of a beer store. You think? I don't think so. I don't think so, dude. I'd love to meet him. I'd love to shake his hand. Rick Beato also interviewed him recently too. I found that interview was a little boring, to be honest. Wasn't the greatest interview. But it was interesting to see anyways. There's also a story about Mason's collection. I don't know if you guys know this, but apparently there's... man, I'm just trying to remember where I saw that. Apparently there's some kind of event. Man, I wish I could remember where I saw it. Anyways, there's some kind of event that the drummer puts on every year on his estate, and shows off his car collection. Apparently he's got a really amazing car collection. I thought I had saved that article somewhere, but I don't know where I put it. So people just go and they stand in line to see his car collection. And it's still like open to the public even now. I don't know if anybody lives in that area, but if you want to take a look at that, that's pretty cool, I think. Well, I also heard that poor Rod Stewart's under the weather. He apparently canceled quite a few of his residency dates that he's putting on. Apparently he had some kind of flu or something like that, and he had to cancel because he's playing in Vegas, Caesar's Palace. His show starts June 1st, apparently. They were supposed to start, and he's canceling. So, poor guy's not feeling good. Hope he feels better. He is 80 after all, man. You know, it's like we have to give the guy a break. Have you seen his collection, David? I've seen some pictures of some of his cars, and they're pretty amazing, man. Like, these are like vintage vehicles. They're worth a lot of money. So yeah, I'd like to go see that. Haven't been to a car show in quite a while. but I'd like to go eventually. I'm always into cool cars. Um, if you guys are into new amplifiers, somebody was asking me about amplifiers earlier today. I wanted to say this and save this for you guys. So Laney rolls out a new amp recently. It's a 120 watt solid state amplifier. And I checked out some reviews on it. I checked out some sound samples. It doesn't sound bad, you know, for a solid state amp. Sounds pretty good. It's called the LF Super Top, if you guys are interested in checking it out. The interesting thing though is that it comes as a head and a combo, and the head looks like a regular tube head. I don't know why they would do that. You don't have to make it that size. You can make it way smaller. I kind of like the look. You know, even if something's transistor, I like to have the tube head or the head of the amplifier look like a tube head. I just think they look cooler. But you don't have to do that because you can actually shrink it down quite a bit if it's transistor. But it sounds pretty good. And if you're looking for something that's not going to give you problems, you know, tubes and all that, and have to mess around with tubes, you can grab one of these. They're not even that expensive. I believe they're going for it's $599 with the 4x12. It's $789, and if you get the 2x12, it's $499. So you have a couple of choices there. So if you're into that kind of amplifier and you like that brand, that's something to look forward to. I don't know where it's made. Probably China. Everything's made in China. The cabs are probably particle board at that price. You know, I don't think they're going to get like a marine grade plywood or anything like that. So you might get what you pay for, but for somebody starting out, it could be a good option. Eddie says that his brother-in-law paid $1,500 for 2 Rod Stewart tickets for this summer. He said Rod Stewart probably would get sick and cancel, so he called it. Music and Gear says jazz chorus, Roland jazz chorus. Not small, but wow, what an amp. The jazz chorus, I mean, I played the jazz chorus way back. Honestly, when I bought my first amplifier, which ended up being a very blah sounding Yamaha 2x12 combo, because I ended up buying that one because it was the one that looked closest to what I was looking for, which was actually a jazz chorus 120. And this one, the Yamaha had more knobs at the time, but it really didn't sound good. It wasn't a great amplifier, but I did keep it for quite a while. It was okay as a pedal platform, but it was transistor, didn't sound really good. The jazz chorus, on the other hand, always sounded really good. But it depends what kind of sound you were after. For dirt, wasn't the best option, but for cleans, wow. You know, the stereo chorus on that thing was amazing. Vox said, I'd pay $2,500 not to see Rod Stewart. I guess Vox is not a fan. I like the early stuff. I like the stuff, you know, the faces and all that kind of stuff. But now he's kind of turned into a crooner, right? So if you're not into that kind of stuff, I get it. Not everybody is. Not everybody's cup of tea, so to speak. What else did I have on the agenda for today? Should we look at the poll question or should we wait a little bit longer? Oh, one other thing, I got to mention this. Triumph. Triumph is reuniting after 17 years, believe it or not. I never thought it would happen. Great Canadian band. I saw them recently with Phil X. Phil X was playing with them. So apparently they're getting back together. Took them long enough. I don't know what the hell they were waiting for. I don't know if they're going to get together and just play the old stuff or if they're going to try and make some new music, but still good news. So I don't know. I'm just trying to see if they have any kind of plans for a tour yet, or it's going to be their first public appearance since 2019, when they played a 3-song set for a group of fans during the filming of Triumph, Rock and Roll Machine, documentary about the band. Shane says Yvette Young's new song kicks ass. Anyone else like Bella Fleck? Vox has mentioned Bella a couple of times on the show. I think he's got the hots for her. Just kidding, just kidding. Paul says today's biggest pop stars are at the top of making about 10% monthly from streams that the classic rockers are. The media ignores it as they make their money with what's new. So basically, they're not making the same money. They have to tour. I guess that's why they decide, let's do one more. They got a lot of great songs. No, Davis? Don't you agree, man? What's your favorite Triumph song, Davis? Any other Triumph fans out there? I mean, they were never like my favorite band, but they were a good, solid Canadian band. I wouldn't say they were up there with Rush, but, you know, Triumph and Rush often got mentioned in the same breath. Hey, Music and Gear, thanks for stopping by. Nice to have you, dude. Appreciate it. Shane, you confuse Triumph and Trooper? Yeah, totally different. I know, Nella. That's why I said I'm only joking. Because the name Bella sounds like a girl's name. That's why I said, you know, he's got the hots for Bella. It's a joke. It's a joke. Sometimes my jokes don't go over that well, guys. Sorry about that. But it was meant as a joke. When I always used to joke with my kids when Justin Bieber was very popular. I mean, he's still popular now, but there was a time when he was younger, he was very, very popular. I used to joke around with them saying, Justine Bieber, I love her. She's great. And my kids would get upset at me. So Rico says that guitar looks crazy. Is it balanced or does it dive? It's actually pretty balanced, man. It's designed to be balanced. That's the cool thing about it, because they can make it as thick and not as much weight and or as little weight as you want. So, you know, even though it's a headless guitar, it's pretty cool. You just have to be careful not to cut yourself on the edges. Vox says, Bieber is my son's wife's cousin. Does he send you some Christmas gifts once in a while? Mark says, got offered $500. It's tough out there. Got offered $500 for what? Oh, I think I missed your last comment. I hope all is well. I'm finding the used market is tough at the moment. Been trying to sell a Gibson Tribute for under 1K, yet people still offering low offers. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm going to tell you a story. How does it feel up here on the high frets? Feels fine. I can't really hear too much of the difference when I split the pickups though. That's full on. That's split. Can you get through a metal detector? Probably not. If you're going to be taking this to on a plane, you're probably going to get pulled over and they're going to give you the rubber glove treatment for sure. They're going to think it's some kind of a weapon. I mentioned that in my video. If you guys didn't see my video review on this thing, I put the link in the chat and you guys can check it out. I made a joke about that also in my video. So great minds think alike. Rick Emmett's early tone is so good with the Framus guitar and Marshall. I remember when he was still playing the Yamaha, the white Yamaha. I don't know if you remember that. That goes back quite a ways. Alex says Lenny Kravitz is better than Triumph. Ooh, Alex, you're gonna offend some people. So going back to the comment Mark made earlier about the markets, yeah, I think people are going to be in line for an adjustment in terms of pricing. I see a lot of stuff being listed for a long time, especially if it's expensive stuff, expensive guitars, expensive amplifiers. They just sit there for weeks and weeks and weeks. I've been eyeballing a few things and I just see them dropping. Like they'll stay there for 3-4 weeks, they'll drop the price, stay there for another 3-4 weeks, drop the price. Eventually they're going to get to the sweet spot, somebody's going to grab it. But yeah, I don't think people are willing to pay that kind of cash nowadays, so they're kind of sitting still. So if you got stuff for sale, it's got to be at a good price, otherwise you're not going to sell anything. I've been waiting. There's a crazy guy selling a Supro, the dual tone. Crazy guy. I'm going to tell you why he's a crazy guy. Because he's listed this thing I don't know how many times locally. I used to have a dual tone, by the way. I don't know if you guys remember. And I sold it. And I kind of miss that amplifier. And I'm kind of like, I kind of want to buy it again. So I've been keeping my eyes open for one. They don't pop up very regularly. They're kind of rare. So when one does pop up, I jump on it, right? So I ended up contacting this guy. He listed it. And I contacted him and I offered him a little bit less than what he had it listed for, because I think he had it listed, his asking price was too high for that amplifier, okay? Because it was an old amplifier. So I offered a little bit less, and he talked me up a little bit, and at the end I said, okay, sure, let's do it. And for some reason, I must have offended him or something. He took it off. He unlisted it, and he just ended the conversation, whatever. I'm like, okay, fine. A couple weeks go by, he lists it again, this time at a lower price. So I contacted him again, and again, he took it out. He took it off again, and he did it to me a third time just this week. He listed it again. I contacted him. This time he asked me for my phone number. I said, sure, I'll give you my phone number. Give me a call. He's like, can I have your number so I can talk to you? I'm like, yeah, no problem. Gave him my phone number. Didn't call me. Took it out again. This guy's got issues. I don't know what his problem is, but I bet it's hard to pronounce. So I'm kind of done with this bozo. Doesn't look like he actually wants to sell it. So he can keep it. I'll just wait for another one to pop up. I'm not in a rush. But he lost his opportunity. I was gonna give him what he asked for, what he listed it at, and I guess he's just fishing. There's people that do that, man. They just want to fish, see what they can get for their stuff. I heard an announcement that Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath are going to do their last show, and it's going to be live streamed. Now, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, because this was announced earlier this year that they'd be performing as their final show as a band in their hometown this July. And it's supposed to be called, I think the concert or the tour is called Back to the Beginning. Apparently it'll be Ozzy Osbourne's last time on stage because he's got like severe health problems. We know that they're going to have to probably prop him up, and he's probably going to be syncing the music. I don't even know if he's going to be able to sing. He's got Parkinson's disease, man. I don't know what they're just like pushing him out there on stage. Come on, Ozzy, one more. Got to pay the bills. So anyway, I kind of feel bad, and for $29, I think it's $29.99, you can sign up to watch the live stream. I'm not going to sign up to watch the live stream. I'm sure it's going to be all over YouTube in a matter of, hours after it's done. So it should be interesting to see what's going to go down. But I don't feel good about it. I think they should just let it be, man. Like, poor guy. He's done what he needed to do. And let him take it easy. Let him retire, man, But I guess the old guys can't retire. They keep popping up. And speaking of popping up, Ron Wood of the Rolling Stones popped up recently for a rare appearance. And who did he show up with? He showed up with his 47-year-old lovely wife. She's only 31 years younger than him. So, freaking Ronnie, he knows how to pick him. He's 78. I thought he was older. I thought he was pushing 80. I think he was already in his 80s, but he's only 78. And he's got a lovely 47-year-old wife by his side. So he did well. It was a rare appearance. Doesn't usually do appearances that much. But he's looking funny. He's looking funny in his old age, Ronnie. He hasn't aged well, poor guy. But hey, when I turn 70, almost 80 years old, I'll probably look funny too. I look funny already, so who am I to talk, right? All right, let's look at the the California raisins. Yeah, David, probably. They're going to roll them out like Hannibal. Remember when they rolled Hannibal out with the straight jacket on the little trolley? That's probably how they're going to roll him up. Put a little guitar stand up his butt so make sure he doesn't keel over. Poor guy, man. I mean, you shouldn't have to go out that way. He should have just retired, but I guess his wife needs more money to pay the bills. It's hard to stop, Jeff says Sharon must need more lip filler. Get out there, Ozzy. Yeah, I agree. We're being mean, guys. We're being mean. Okay, let's not be so mean. All right, let's check out the poll question. I'm gonna pop that one up if I could find it. It's getting harder and harder to find stuff on YouTube. It used to be easier to find. Nowadays, they kind of hide it. And I even have a hard time finding these stupid things. So let me go to the poll question here. The poll question was basically... Oops, sorry, I just got booted off. What's happening? YouTube doesn't want to participate with me. Doesn't want to play well with me today. Something went wrong. What's going on? Is it an internet problem? Okay, I got it here now. So the poll question for this week was, which piece of gear do you typically upgrade first when chasing better tone? And I'm asking that question because, we obviously, whenever there's a problem with our playing, we always blame our gear, right? It's never us. It's never, the people that are not practicing. You know what I mean? It's just the gear. It's either our amp, our guitar, our strings, our cable, our pedal, whatever. There's always a reason why, we're not playing that well, instead of just being honest and saying we need to practice more. But I was curious to see if you guys feel the same way I do. So there was 157 votes on today's poll question, and I'm going to list out the answers in order of highest vote. Okay, so the number one thing that seems to get upgraded when people feel like they're chasing tone and they require better tone is the amp. believe it or not. Not even the guitar, the amplifier. 49% of you said that you go straight to the amplifier. That's a pretty expensive thing to be upgrading, in my opinion, especially as a first step in the process. I don't usually go to the amp first. That's usually the last thing I go to. But 49% of you said amp. That's surprising. Second most popular answer is pedals. I tend to agree with pedals since, they're cheaper. It's an easier thing to upgrade. You can change your sound quite a bit using pedals without necessarily having to spend too much money. So I kind of agree with that. We have a tie in third position between guitar and pickups. Now, I think for me, I'll usually go pedal first, pickup second, guitar third, amp fourth. I'll do it in that order. I usually go cheapest and easiest to more expensive and harder to do. Like, it's easier to change a pedal than to change pickups. It just requires more effort. So I usually do that. So it's surprising that the most popular answer was amp. I wouldn't have thought it would be an amp. Yeah, that's you guys got money, man. If you can just go out there and buy amps all day long when you don't like your tone, that's Nella says that's because we start out with a cheap amp. I understand that. If you start off with a cheap amp because that's, your budget allows you to get something inexpensive, usually you're right in that regards. Upgrading an amplifier would probably have the biggest impact, especially if you're going from an inexpensive cheap amp. If you already have a pretty nice sounding expensive amplifier, then I wouldn't change that off first. But Vinny says, I think because in the beginning years, the amp you get usually has really crappy distortion. You then plug into a real amp and realize the difference. It's true, I did that too. My first amp, the first amp I ever bought was a transistor amp called EG or Egg. Terrible amp. Had some reverb on it, was transistor. Couldn't get a decent distortion out of that amp at all. Kept it for quite a while. Then I ended up selling that amplifier. I don't even remember who I sold it to, but I feel sorry for whoever bought it. But somebody did buy it. So yeah, then I upgraded to the Yamaha, which was a little bit better. Not much. But I kept that Yamaha for quite a long time. Live and learn, right, guys? But you know what? You guys are spoiled nowadays. The kids today are spoiled because the transistor amplifiers that they have today sound way better than the stuff I had. If you look at the Katana and all these little amplifiers that have a whole bunch of sounds cooked into them, they sound great for like peanuts, really. So, the PVs, the Bandits, all those amplifiers. I wish I had one of those amplifiers when I was a kid. I'd probably still be playing it now. David said, between my two guitars, one is a lot quieter, all else being equal, so I'm leaning towards pickups. You guys know me, I upgrade pickups a lot. So yeah, I got a problem with pickups. I really like to find the one. And once you go down that rabbit hole, you can go, change pickups monthly if you want, really. But I've been good. I haven't changed pickups in a while. I've been pretty good. Tony C wants to know, do you miss your Music Man Axis? Tony, you've probably been on my channel lurking or something. That's an old video. I do miss it, man. Absolutely. That was a great guitar. I saw one recently being listed on for sale but they were asking like $8,000 for it. Pretty crazy. Yeah, it was a great a great guitar. The only thing is the neck on that guitar, and I mentioned it over and over again. If that guitar neck was just a little bit wider, I would have kept it because everything was really good on that on that guitar. The way it was made, the neck on that guitar, the feel of the neck was great. It's just that it was a little too narrow for me. But the back of the neck, the way it fitted my hand was perfect. Really love those Music Man necks. It's funny because the Wolfgang that I got, the Wolfgang Special, was the same width up here. So I don't know if it's like Eddie's spec, because they were both kind of built around Eddie Van Halen specs. Maybe he just likes the guitar to be a little bit narrower up here, but I sold both of those guitars for the same reason. Vox says, my first amp was a 1969 Trainer 30-watt tube combo with greenbacks. Wish I still had it. Those are the sleeper amps, you know, Canadian sleeper amps. A lot of people still don't know how great they sound. Shane says, Tony is far more handsome than Levy. Who's making fun of me? Somebody's making fun of me. I'm going to block you, man. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't block you for that. I can take it. What happened to Eugene Levy? I don't know what happened to him. Last time I saw him, he had those little glasses. Maybe I should get those little glasses too. And thank you, Shane, by the way, for the compliment. Believe it or not, I get a lot of people saying I look like other people. I got to put up with so many ridiculous comments. It's not even funny. Nella says, I have a Katana 100-watt Mark 1, bought a Blues Junior, decided a more rock amp, and got a Blackstar HT20. Then wanted a good amp and bought a Friedman Little Sister. Dude, that's a nice upgrade. Congratulations on that. When did you get the Little Sister? Is that recent, Nella? You never mentioned it before. Or maybe you didn't, I just don't remember. What do you think of the Little Sister, man? I love the Little Sister's like the Dirty Shirley, right? Except smaller. And I love the Dirty Shirley. Mike wants to know your opinion on the LTD guitars. I'm thinking about buying one. I've never owned one, Mike. I can't really give you my honest opinion. I haven't ever owned one of those guitars. So I don't know too much specifically on those. But if anybody here has some advice for Mike, just let him know what you think. We're all here to help each other, man. And it's an open platform. So Noah says he got it last year. It's a screamer and does do clean well. It's funny because on mine, it's never really clean. It's like I'm gonna say like edge of breakup clean. Still sounds great though. But it's not like a clean. Vox wants to know if Fender solved that fizz issue that their Mustang amps had. It was all over the message boards for a long time. There was a lot of Fender amps that had that fizz issue. The bass breakers had it too, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of the Fender amps that had high gain or a high gain channel had that frying egg kind of sound in the background, which is not a good thing to be dealing with. So I don't know if they ever fixed it. Nella says the Blues Junior is a good one for the clean tones. Yeah, the Blues Junior is a solid Fender amp. I'd get a Blues Junior over a Hot Rod, probably. I had a Hot Rod a long time ago and I ended up selling that also. It was okay, but I kind of like my Blues Junior better. You could put pedals in front of the Blues Junior. Sounds great. Anybody else have any questions? By the way, just a little FYI, because this is something that I didn't actually know till recently. Did you guys know Chuck Berry was actually buried with his guitar? I didn't know this. This is news to me. But apparently, he was buried with his guitar. Amazing when you think about it. That guitar would probably be worth millions. If that guitar was sold today or auctioned off, it'd probably be worth millions. But apparently, and I fact checked this, apparently it's true, it was buried with him. I didn't know this. Basically, Chuck Berry passed away when I think he was 90 years old, March 18th, 2017. And this is at his home in Missouri, St. Louis. And apparently his mom and his sister, they asked at the funeral home, can we make a guitar that can go into the casket? Apparently. So they actually did put a guitar in the casket, but it wasn't the guitar. So they ended up calling Tom Murphy to make a guitar. So they weren't dumb about it. They did put a guitar in the casket, but it wasn't the guitar. So his guitar still actually exists somewhere. Thank God, because I almost got, like, when I was reading the article, I'm like, oh no, don't tell me they put his guitar in there. So it's probably somewhere. I don't know if it's in a museum or in a private collection or somewhere, but apparently it's not in his casket. Thank God. Eddie says, yeah, dig it up, clean it off, it'd be worth even more. You know what? If the original was in his casket, they would have dug it up a long time ago. Morbid thought, but people would do it. Vox says, I was rewatching the Justified TV show and was surprised to see Kenny Rogers, drummer, is on the show. I didn't know that. Shane, I don't know if you're trying to be funny or not, but it's kind of funny what you're saying, but not funny at the same time. Who would think it would be worth money? But most people who love Chuck Berry are also dead. I like Chuck Berry. I'm not dead yet. Anyways, I'm sure if that guitar was available and would go up to auction, probably Keith Richards would probably buy it because he was a big Chuck Berry fan till he got punched in the face. I don't know if you guys remember the story, but when Chuck Berry was doing rehearsals with Keith Richards, apparently Chuck Berry was a bit of a big pill to swallow. He had his own ego and wasn't that nice to Keith. And I watched the video a few times, and Keith told the story of one day when they were rehearsing, apparently Chuck Berry walked out of the room and left his guitar behind. I don't know if he had to go to the men's room or had to go do something in another room. Anyways, the guitar was in the room with Keith Richards, and Keith Richards like, man, this is my opportunity. So he ended up like grabbing the guitar and like strumming it gently or whatever. And lo and behold, Chuck Berry walks in, sees Keith Richards holding the guitar, smacks him in the face, gives him a 1-2, because he touched his guitar, and he's like, nobody touches my guitar, man. So you got to respect that. Oh, Lordy. Paul says the old amps had low gain, but we dimed them and used a pedal, so they screamed. Yeah, I think those low gain amplifiers are the sleeper amplifiers. And if you get that magic combination of low gain amplifier and the right pedal, sounds fantastic. Nella says the leaning Les Pauls are messing with my OCD. Nella, I did that specifically for you. They're not really leaning, Nella. It's an optical illusion. It's just because, you know, the Leaning Tower of Pizza. My camera's leaning. It's not the room, guys. It's not the room. So if I do this, it's all good, right? Guitar Vacation is here. What's up, Uncle Tony and Chat Guitar Bros? What's up, Guitar Vacation? We've been chatting for an hour and a half, so you're a little late to the party, but better late than never. But we're going to be wrapping it up soon because, you know, we're getting there. By the way, just in case you wanted to know, it looks like Joe Bonamassa bought another dumble. How many dumbles do you need? And my wife gets mad at me when I buy an amplifier. A cheap amplifier. This guy's up to his 9th dumble. You know those amps are pretty expensive, right? So, oof. He ended up selling all of his dumbles back in 2016. But I think he regretted it because he bought more. But he says it's his last one. Sure, I'll believe it when I see it. So he bought his 9th dumble in 5 years, but he said he promises himself that it will be the last big amp acquisition of the Nerdville Museum. Do you guys believe that? Because I don't. Anyways, he says he's been deeply associated with Howard Alexander Dumble's fabled amp builds. Of course, he's a big fan. And he basically ended up selling all of those dumbles that I don't know why. Maybe he needed money or he wanted to invest in something else. He said he had 3 at one point and he sold them all. And now he's buying them again and he's back to 9. So it looks like he's got most of them. So if any of you are looking for a dumble, you know whose door to knock on. I just find it's I know that they're all different. That's one of the things about the dumbles, is that every one is different. So I could understand why maybe he's looking at buying a few different ones. But 9, those things go for like $100,000 each minimum these days. So that's almost like $1 million worth of amps. But you know, Joe's not a dummy. He's probably better off investing in gear like that than stocks that keep going up and down. We know that his stuff is going to keep going up. So he's just getting ready. I'd love to try one of those amps just to see, you know, what the hype is about. But I'm sure they sound great. But it's like the Klon, you know. We've come full circle in our conversation. It's like the Klon. Like, I'm sure they sound good, but do they sound $6,000 good? I wouldn't say so. Same thing with the amp. I'm sure it sounds good, but does it sound $100,000 good? I'm not sure. But if somebody would offer one to me, I'd take it. I think we can make Joe an honorary member of the Addicted to Gear channel. He's definitely the poster boy for that. So Gene is saying that Amazon is delivering some setup tools today. That's great, Gene. Actually, it's funny because I picked up a whole bunch of stuff this week also. I didn't mention it yet, but I've got a few things that I've been eyeballing for such a long time. Hopefully they'll make my guitar setups even better. I'll share all this stuff with you guys like I normally do when I get to finally getting a guitar on my messy workbench. I got a couple of things that I got to be working on, and there's a couple of cool tools I want to show you guys that I got recently. And I kind of spoiled myself. I don't usually get tools like that because they are a little expensive, those ones. But I think they're going to be well worth it, and they're the type of tools that you keep forever. So I'll let you know. All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up. I've been yapping for a little too long, and it's over an hour and a half now. I appreciate you guys tuning into the channel. Please give us a thumbs up on your way out. Always like to have that, you know, reassurance that you guys enjoyed the show. Otherwise, I'm going to feel bad all week. And of course, we're going to be back next week, hopefully. I say hopefully because I know a lot of you guys are going to be going away on vacation soon. When summer kicks in, you know, you got plans for the weekend and all of that. So, you know, if you can tune in, we always aim for the Sunday time slot, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time for those new people here. And come prepared with your questions and comments and stuff that you want to talk about. I'll have some new stuff to talk about as well. New gear, new guitars, amps, tools, all that great stuff. Oh, I almost forgot. I wanted to show you something. Well, I don't have it. I don't have it within arm's reach, or do I? No, I don't. Sorry, guys. I wanted to show you the cool new pedal, but I'll do a review on it for you guys. You'll get to see it that way. If you guys didn't already check out my review on this guitar, check it out. It's in my links. It's on my channel with the 700 or so other videos. So take a look at that. And if you're interested in catching some other gear reviews, stay tuned on that channel. Stay subscribed because there's always more stuff coming. And I appreciate you guys and your feedback, all right? Have a great week, you guys. Get out there and take some sun. I'm going to go try and get some color and be working in my yard and then come back and work on my guitars. But that's the process sometimes. You got to do the bad stuff before you can do the fun stuff, right? All right, guys. Have a good week. See you soon. Be good. Easy on the gear this week, guys. You know, like I don't mind you guys buying some new stuff, but don't go overboard. Keep the wife happy and just space it out a little bit. That always helps. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I give you guys the thumbs up. See you soon.